Yo, welcome to another episode of Raiders Unleashed. What's good, my nation? Appreciate everybody in the building. So, it's not breaking news because it's all over the nation, right? The Raiders have went out and signed Germaine Pratt. Good pickup, good pickup. What does this mean for the nation? What does it mean for the rest of the players on the roster? We will break all that down, of course, as we always do. But first, let's get into the chat. What's up? What's up? Appreciate everybody popping in. Who we got in the building already? Raider Menace, what's good? JC in the building. Hawaiian Candy, appreciate y'all. Salute. Appreciate you popping up. So, yeah, what does this mean for the Las Vegas Raiders? Like I said, of course, we're going to talk about it, but let's get into it right off the bat. So, the Raiders linebacker room now looks like this: Germaine Pratt, Devin White, Amari Gaynor, and Jalen Walker. Middle linebacker, Landon Roberts, Tommy Eichenberg, Jalen Smith, and Cody Lindenberg. That's 8 guys. We keep 6, possibly 7, depending on what we do on the offensive line and defensive line. If you've seen the interview earlier, our general manager kind of let it slip. He said we're keeping 8 guys on the offensive line, or you can keep 8 guys on the offensive line, which on the roster, he said. So if that's the case, that leaves an empty spot, whether it's the corner room, whether it's, the safety position or the linebacker room. I think we have a lot of young talent. We also have some guys like Jalen Smith, who's been around, in the league for a little while. Devin White, does he make this roster? Those are all questions we'll have to get into, break down, talk about it. What's good, Rosetown? Appreciate you. Yeet, yeet. 4 letters, 1 word, baby. All right, I had another window up, I thought. Oh, it's over here. My bad. All right, so let's break this down. Yeah, let's pull it up on the screen. Let's pull it up. Give me a second. I don't know what it's going to look like yet. I was not ready for this. Different screen. Demo. Share screen. Window. Yeah, I'm talking to myself. All right, I got it. Fuck, but I don't know how y'all can see it. Hold up. Damn it. I don't know what y'all see. Hold on. I'm lagging. What's good, man? How was everybody's week so far? It is hump day. The Raiders are making moves. Let me know in the comments, man. What do you feel about this move? Is he going to be, obviously he's a run stopper. I'm going to get into the stats, his strengths, weaknesses. But right off the rip, I'm going to tell you, we basically signed another run stopper. Coverage-wise, man, we still have questions. So we'll get into that, definitely. As soon as I get this shit rolling. Like always. All right, so that's what y'all see. Good enough, I think. Ow, son of a biscuit. Lawrence, my guy, what's good? Appreciate you popping in. What do you think about the new signing? We're going to break it all down. We'll get into it. So, as you can see on the screen, the man had last year was a 60.6 overall grade. Not too great. Snap count 1,075. That was 8th out of 189 linebackers in the NFL last year. He also had 107 tackles. That was 7th in the NFL out of 189 linebackers. Pressure wise, he had 10 pressures, 0 sacks. That was 39th in the NFL. But then let's break it down a little more. Pass rush grade 54.5. That's 122nd out of 189 linebackers. Not the greatest. Run defense. Now, this is where he steps up. A 70 grade on average. That's not bad, right? 63rd in the NFL. That's better than half. But that's playing a lot of snaps. Now, coverage grade 53.4, 125th in the NFL, man. So, Trixie Blue, appreciate you. Law Dog, appreciate you dropping in. That's not good. That's not good coverage wise. Then we get down to the grit, right? Like I said, 107 solo tackles, 30 assisted, 26th in the NFL. He had 2 forced fumbles. We could use those. Solo tackles we just talked about. Assist, he had 30. That was 26th in the NFL. He was 10th in forced fumbles with 2. Huge number I love to see right here. 7th in the NFL in stops with 53 stops last year in the run. I don't have enough about him other than Derek in the game last time we were in. Yeah, you had to bring that up. Damn it. So that's, I mean, that was good coverage, right? The interception. But 53 stops, man, that's, that's damn good. 7th in the NFL. Then it gets down to 89th in sacks with 0. The 2 biggest numbers I've seen that really, really still scare me about this linebacker group. 181st out of 189 linebackers in missed tackles with 19. Yes, 19, bro. 19 missed tackles. Now, is that a product of the defensive line in front of him? Is that a product, is it all one-on-one tackles missed? Was there other guys, that knock him off the tackle? I don't know. I got to go watch more film. But that's a big number, bro. There's at 189 linebackers in the NFL. You were 181st with 19 missed tackles. Now, again, I really like the linebacker coach we have. I like Pete Carroll being involved in Patrick Graham's defense. As Patrick Graham said, he's becoming a sponge. So that means, to me, from what I take from that is, it's not going to be all Patrick Graham's defense. There's going to be different schemes implemented, or maybe just change the defense, altogether with Pete Carroll. We don't know. Then the next number, man, 75th, which I guess out of 189 linebackers, that's not too bad, right? I'm not complaining too much. But passer rating allowed, 103.5. We can't have that. If that's going to be the case, I'd rather have the, Divine Diablo. I mean, if we're being honest, at least coverage-wise, he was a lot better. The same, I think less missed tackles. And he is now our highest paid linebacker at, 4.75 mil, 4.25. I've seen different, I don't know the exact numbers, but 4 mil plus makes him our highest paid linebacker, and it's not even close. Like I said, the snaps he had last year, he's probably not going to have this year. So is he going to have the same amount of production? Is the production going to be better? Can Patrick Graham, which I believe he can, but can Patrick Graham find ways to use Germaine Pratt? Since we run a lot of zone, right? He's not going to be covering tight ends for 15 or 20 yards. He's going to be covering these guys for 5 or 10 yards and then passing them off, right, to a safety or whoever's back there. So if we can use him like that, he's definitely going to help in the run game. And he already, as we showed, jumped to the number 2 spot, playing the outside linebacker. They still have Erop in the middle, and then Tommy Eichenberg right behind him. But that puts Amari Gaynor from the second spot to the third spot, which I don't like that at all, right? This kid, I mean, if you show out, it doesn't really matter where they have you listed, right? You have all the opportunity in the world to move up. We've heard the linebacker coach talk about it. We've heard the coaches talk about it. You got all the opportunity, right? It's nobody's spot so far. It's whoever takes it. So falling farther down the depth chart for some of these guys is not going to help. And like I said, we're keeping 6 linebackers. Let me stop sharing this. More than likely, we keep 6 linebackers. So who are those linebackers going to be? Well, shit, let's talk about that. Let me try this one more time. How the fuck ain't demo working? All right, man. Share screen. Jeez Louise, window. So let's look at the depth chart. I don't like that view. Hold up. Gotta have a better one. Works for me. All right, so this is the Raiders depth chart. It's supposed to be color coded. I don't know what's up with my computer. It's not color coding shit. It just fades. So we will have to figure that out. But as you can see, I think, yeah, you can see Germaine Pratt already listed as the will linebacker. Devin White moves to that second spot. Amari Gaynor falls to the third spot. Like I said, Jalen Walker is right behind him. Well, Tommy Eichenberg, making a push. How much burn does he get? Does he get a lot of grass time this year? Does he make enough noise, in this offseason when the pads come on to get more play time? It doesn't look good to me. I know they have Jalen Smith, as you can see, listed in front of Cody Lindenberg, but I just don't see a scenario where the Raiders, draft a guy like Lindenberg, take a chance for a roster spot in the 7th round, and then let him go without giving him a chance to develop in this system and in this organization. So it could be lights out for Jalen Smith. That would be my guess. And more than likely, Jalen Walker. I don't see Amari Gaynor going anywhere. But there's a very big possibility, and let me know, out of these guys on the list, let's just go with initials, right? Devin White, obviously, the initials, WD. Jalen Walker, or Jalen Smith, or Cody Lindenberg. Which one do you guys think makes this roster? Like I said, there's only 6 spots, but the other 2 probably going to the practice squad. But here's my scenario is I don't see a guy like Devin White getting moved to the practice squad, right? I mean, I don't think it would be good for Devin White, for his ego. I don't think the Raiders would do that. I think they'd release him before they put him on the practice squad. Jalen Smith's going into his 6th or 7th year. We got to make sure the middle is covered for sure. Panthers torched us last season in the middle. I hear you. Let me catch up in this chat real quick. Raider down yonder, what's good? Appreciate you, my guy. I didn't mean to miss you. Aladdin Saddam, what's good? What's good? Unleashed Raider, appreciate you. Like I said, he's a heavy hitter. He's definitely a thumper in the middle. He's going to stop the run. He's going to be out there an awful lot, which is my thing. How much is he going to be out there? And who's going to take his place when he's not out there, right? Is it Devin White in coverage I'm scared with that, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. That's not flying for me. He is right now rated our highest grade um, linebacker when it comes to pass coverage. What the fuck is on my nose, bro? So that is very scary. Very, very scary. Um, but yeah, let me know out of these guys, and I know you can't see my face. Which guys do you think, aren't gonna make the cut? To me, like I said, I strongly believe. Why is that showing like that? I strongly believe Lindenberg isn't going anywhere. Amari Gainer, these are guys that were drafted. Spytek, Pete Carroll are very, very high on keeping guys in house and at least giving them a chance, right? Unless they're just downright awful. Obviously, I think they released somebody, right, to bring in Pratt. And I believe it could have been Michael Barrett. I don't see him on the roster anymore. So I'm just going to guess and say Michael Barrett is the one cut. Uh, he's been getting better every single year in coverage. Look at the stats. I looked at the stats. 103, rating in coverage shows me teams are taking advantage of this guy. They're taking advantage of him a lot, an awful lot. Throwing over the middle, short passes, throwing to the tight ends, throwing to the running backs out of the backfield. And I feel like teams are gonna, see that weakness and try to take advantage of it. So on third downs, in cover situation, if he's out there, to me, it's, and like I said, if you could keep it in the 10-yard range, 5-10 yards, right? I think he's good there. He's solid. But if it gets past that, then to me it's a big question. Plus he played for the Bengals. But let's talk about, the past. We brought in guys that we thought were going to be, that next linebacker in the middle, that next Beaker to take over, right? And it didn't work out. We paid a lot of money to I just had his name. The dude from the Rams. We brought in a lot of linebackers that, haven't really helped. It's been a long time since we got a steal like a Robert Spillane, right? That came in, took that green dot right off the rip, was controlling the team, was putting guys in the right position. And the Raiders are searching, right? They're searching hard to find that guy, which tells me by going and getting another guy like that, that the guys in front of, the guys that are now behind him and Devin White and Amari Gainer and Jalen Walker weren't impressing this, this coaching staff. That's my opinion. You can never have too much depth. You can never have too many linebackers. You can never have too many corners, but you can only have so many on a roster. And that's a big, big question of how many guys we're keeping. Is it 6? Is it 7? Do they keep 7 guys because they don't really have faith in this linebacker room? And hopefully these guys step up when the pads come on. I really want to see it. One more assassin to the roster. Yeah, he's going to hunt. He's definitely going to hunt. And he's going to be in a damn good position, right? You're playing Will linebacker. You're Roman. They're going to move him around a lot. Like I said, they're going to put him in the best scenarios with his strengths because we do have a lot of weapons and a lot of speed on defense. Yeah, we got to make sure the middle is covered. Church of Al Davis, what's good? Law Dog, let me bless the chat. Appreciate you, my guy. Pete and the big boys, when they wouldn't have paid him if they didn't think he was good in this to fit the stats, don't always prove. Outcome, Tom Brady, the money ball. prove that wrong. I hear you, Law Dog. I hear you. And I'm hoping, like I said, I'm just showing, I showed the highlights, the run stopping, and I showed the bad because that's what we do on this channel, right? We don't want Raider Nation just thinking, hey man, this guy's gonna cover, play that wheel linebacker, and he's gonna be, a shutdown guy. I don't see that right off the bat. And if he is, shit, thank God. Thank God. They are building a bully team on defense, in my opinion. Where's my chat? Hold up. I don't know why I'm reading over here. My bad, yo. Yeah, try this again. It's going good, Candy. Appreciate it. I don't even know where I was. I gotta find it. My bad, my bad. Co-Raiders, Trixie Blue, what's good? Appreciate you. All right, past that, past that, past that. Somewhere in here. The fuck, chat? They're building something. All right, there we go. There we go. Damn. There we go. Much better. All right. They are building a bully team on defense, in my opinion. So everyone is going to contribute, meaning as the team in the offense will be slowed down, allowing for easy stop and not dependent on one player only. Shout out to that, Raider Menace. Facts, 100%. I agree. Remember, Vince Lombardi took a group of bums, the same group. It went back to back to back to back. Shout out to that. Preaching facts. Preaching all facts. 1915, 20. Do you mean to only show the screen? Yeah, I did for a second. Where'd you go, bro? I was hiding my face. All right. What else we got? Um, we got Pratt at 30 million in the bank. We're good. Preach that truth. Preach that truth. Him playing for the Bengals is even more impressive. He was their defensive star. Shout out to that. And let's talk about that also because not only was it, he their defensive star, but he also was on the team that made the Super Bowl, I do believe, with Joe Burrow and the Bengals a couple years ago. So he has deep playoff experience. And he's another guy that you can rotate and move around in the box, which all of us like to move and rotate in the box, right? So we got that going for us. Playoff experience, the experience that we have in the linebacker room went from very little Paquito Mas, right, to gigantic, right? Mucho grande. Um, so to me, I'm good with it, right? I talked about it 3 weeks ago. I'm not Bruno. What it do? Jellyfish, appreciate you pulling up. It does help in the middle. It helps in the middle a lot. Devin White, we can pull up his stats if y'all want. I don't want to embarrass the man like that. I'm gonna let him redeem himself before I pull up Devin White's stats. They were not good. they were not good, and I don't want to do my guy like that. I hope he contributes to this team, like he said in his interview. Right? If you watch the presser, one thing that stood out to me is he said, he don't mind being part of a build. He didn't say a rebuild. He said a build. So, the fact that he knows he's not going to be that number one guy, he's going to be, a key guy in certain schemes, certain situations, right? And that's going to be huge for us. Oh, I got that. More depth at the linebacker position. And I get that too. Now we have now we have 3 veterans, but do we keep all 3 veterans? Let me know in the chat. I'll get to it in a minute because I got a lot to go through. So, do we get to it? Or actually, it'll come up, I think, on this side first. Who's grounded from the PlayStation? I gotta start reading y'all shit. But yeah, let me know. Do you feel like this kind of you know, hinders the development and the growth of these guys getting more playing time when it comes to the season, right? Because to me, I feel the best way to learn is on the fly. I mean, you can watch all the tape, you can go over all the plays, you can walk through all the plays, but when the pads really come on and it's, time to go, it's go time out there, the lights come on, it's a different story, right? So you got to get these guys all the preseason work they can get. And if you're trying to see what a guy, like a Germaine Pratt still has, or a E-Rob, or a Devin White, how much time do these guys get out there? Or do you just not even play those guys in the preseason because you know what they have, as a veteran? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. What do y'all think? Is it going to hinder the production, the development of these youngsters? That's why we got Pratt, to make sure we got a guy when we need another guy. Well, right now they got him at the top. And with the amount of snaps he played, 1,075 snaps last year, to me that tells me he's going to be a big intricate part of this of this team, bro. I just made a bet with him today that Genty runs 899 yards and 8 touchdowns. I get $150. Ashton Genty jersey. I think I got this one. Shit, I want in on that bet. I think you got this too. Stays healthy. That's a lock, bro. That's a lock. 2 interceptions and 2 forced fumbles. Not according to PFF. I didn't see the interceptions. Maybe he had 2. Maybe you're right. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying I didn't see it on PFF. Wait, Church of Al Davis, where are you from? Right? The Church of Al Davis, Latter-day Saints, Raiders. I appreciate you pulling up, man. Definitely, definitely. From DC and Seattle now. Shout out for blessing the chat. I appreciate it. Linebacker is good as the D line in front of them. 100% facts, Lawrence. 100% facts. And with Adam Butler being back out there in the mix, I could take a deep breath. I can stop panicking. I can breathe. We need him out there to bring these young guys along, man. And big sign of relief for me with Adam Butler being back. Make sure to hit those likes. Yes, hit those likes. Subscribe to the channel if you're already not. Turn on the notifications if you didn't get notified when this live went live. Make sure you tickle the noti. It likes to be turned on. You're grounded from PlayStation for 2 weeks for losing the chat. I don't play PlayStation. It's been a long time. His highlight reel is crazy. It is nice. I'm not gonna lie. Do I know who East Coast Gridiron is? Yeah, ECG was on he was on last week for about an hour or so. Yes, I do. All right. I'll put that bet up since I read it. Sorry if I don't respond right away. I'm in the shower. Nice. 1,200 yards. Well, if you ask Ashton Genty, he says 1,500 yards, and I'm totally down with that. Why is Bruno Bo Nix? What the fuck? I see a Raider in the background, but I see Bo Nix with no helmet. I think Pete Carroll is looking for his Bobby Wagner from for our team. Shout out to my guy Lawrence. Do you think that he could be that guy? Does he still have the speed at his age? Bruno Mars. It looks like it could be a nasty pass rush. Not with him out there. Not according to that PFF grade. I mean, like you said, stats don't always tell the scenario, but stats don't also lie. Like if you can't get to the quarterback, you got no sacks as an outside linebacker. What are you doing? Are you constantly in coverage? That is the question I have. Let me look at it again. So total snaps. Okay. So total snaps were 1,075. He had 431 run defensive snaps. He had 66 pass rush snaps with 0 sacks. And he had 578 coverage snaps, which was 8th in the NFL. But he gave up a 103.5 passer rating. So you decide. I don't know if it's going to help. Where the hell my picture go? Oh. I don't know if it's going to help our pass rush, but I sure hope so. Billy D, what it do, my guy? I think Gainer could be our Wagner, but that's my opinion. I've said that too. You know, I like the fact that our lads have him listed as a linebacker, because if you go to the Raiders roster, they still have Amari Gainer listed as a defensive end, which I don't like, right? Unless, you're going to put him out there, line him up on the end, and put Kuntz on the line and send him out in pass coverage. Like, what are they thinking here? I don't get it. To me, he's our fastest guy out there. He showed he can be a coverage linebacker, but you got to get the reps. Until we see it. I really, really hope it's Amari Gainer. And if he could be our Bobby Wagner, bro, that makes this defense 10 times better, right? If you have a defensive front like we're supposed to have, if you have that dominant defensive front that's constantly, winning with 4 guys or 8, maybe even 5, on certain situations. We ran a lot last year, I think, on certain situations where we had 5 guys out there. So it's not uncommon for the Raiders. This team has something it hasn't had in 20 years called unity, which goes back to the Vince Lombardi statement. Preach that truth, brother. Preach that truth. 2 tackling monsters at linebacker. That is facts. However, if you look at the 19 missed tackles, that's not a lot, right? That's not a lot. I got to go back to the stat again. $107 solo tackles with 19 missed. What's that, 20%? Little under 20%? But I don't think none of that matters. Like I said, it's a new regime. It's a new defensive scheme. I believe Patrick Graham and Pete Carroll, or Patrick Graham by himself, is obviously better than the Bengals defensive coordinator over there. Now, I do think they have a new defensive coordinator, right? Didn't they just fire their defensive coordinator? So they have a new defensive coordinator over there. Maybe he doesn't fit their scheme. But the last one, their defense wasn't great over there in Cincinnati, right? They struggled a lot. So I think it's going to be a little bit different, right? In a Patrick Graham scheme, they're going to use him to his strengths, like I said, not put him in bad situations and bad coverage downs. What you doing?
See how long you're being on?
Oh, I don't know. Not too long.
That's okay.
But I hope, man, I hope we have two monster tacklers. If not, man, right, it's nothing but upside for these young guys to learn under the experience. And even if we keep these guys, and they don't, some of these young guys do start taking some of the grass time, right? And keep it in key situations and third downs and third and long, right? Maybe in third and short, they're probably out there a lot more. But in third and long situations, maybe you start putting Gainer out there and seeing what he's got, or putting Tommy Eichenberg in the middle and see what he can do in those situations. But it just helps the growth if we're not cutting, if we're not losing guys that we drafted. That's the only thing that I question. If we're cutting guys that were drafted Raiders that don't get the chance to develop, that shit just irritates me. I will be in and out, guys, barbecuing ribs. Oh, you making me hungry. And tri-tips, damn. That's messed up. That's messed up, Raider Menace. When you're on the Bengals, you're the only one putting pads on. Wait, you're the only one putting pads on. Putting pads on somebody is harder. LOL. I agree. And like I said, the scheme is going to be different. They're going to use this man a lot in a lot of different ways, and it's going to change, hopefully, his production when it comes to pass coverage. And you never know, man. He's got a chip on his shoulder, right? He's been with this team for a long time. They just let him go, right? They just let him go. The Raiders jumped on it. Not a lot of teams wanted him, or, he was on the trade market. I'm sure they tried to trade for him before they let him go. So guys like that could be scary, right? And Pete Carroll, we've seen it in a lot of his on a lot of his staffs and a lot of his systems, where you bring in these guys, that people thought were forgot about, or didn't have the greatest production the last year, and he turns that shit around. So I'm hoping for that. DoorDash that to me. Shout out. And DoorDash me some too while you're at it. Our offense is going to keep the defense well rested. I hope so, Law Dog. I hope so. And I mean, you're the law, so what you say goes, right? I really hope so. But from what I hear, Geno Smith could have been struggling today in practice. I'll wait till the reports to come out. I'm not a reporter. But man, oh man, I'm saying, right? Sounds good as hell. 1 year prove it for Pratt. Secondary now. Let's go. So who you want on the secondary? Let me know. Ray Love, what's good? Appreciate you dropping in. Trying to catch up to this shit. And I am caught up. Throw me a wrench. What? I don't know where that went. Throw me a wrench and I'll come back. Your tribute podcast. Swing by with us. I don't get that. Ray Love in the building. What it do, my guy? How you been? How you feeling about this Raider squad and the moves we're making? Where do you stand with my guy Germaine Pratt? Now, we just talking throw me a wrench. Guy and come by Jerps Pod. What? Nah, bro. I don't just give out wrenches. You gotta be here. Gotta be here a lot. I'm saying. But yeah, shout out to Yerp if he's on. But yeah, so for me, man, again, I talked about it last week before he was released. Guys that I thought could help this Raider defense, that could come in and turn that linebacker room, tighten it up. And he was top of my list, right? It was top of my list. If he was released, which I thought maybe somebody would pick him up and he'd be traded for. So it was a guy that was top of my list, and I said would help this team, and I still agree. I think he's going to help this team in the run defense. You know, he's a guy that can still get sideline to sideline. He showed he can cover, and he's just going to make the rest of the guys better, man. The experience, the playoff experience. We don't have a lot of guys on our team that have playoff experience. The chat is now blessed. Appreciate you. It needs to be blessed. AOC. Don't just give out wrenches, right? Nah, I ain't playing. You can have one, man. It's just a wrench, bro. Hey, man. No giving people the boot. Easy on the finger trigger. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. Rip it and flip it. What's good? What's good? Welcome. Where's your wrench? The fuck? Why does Countdown not have one? Hold up. Sorry, I'm trying to see something. Where the hell's Rip It and Flip It's comment? Comment again, my guy. I don't know where the other one went. What the hell? Wild. What else we got? It's been fun to see all the guys united, just like our team before the season. Right? It looks like they're having fun out there. It looked like they started having fun last year, but it kind of went downhill when they started losing. And to me, it looks like a different team, right? It looks like everybody's energetic out there. Pete's bringing the energy. I mean, how can you help but not be excited? People say we shored up the quarterback position, right? That is still to be questioned in my mind. But other than that, from Oakland to LA, back to Oakland, Vegas, Raiders to like dive. Facts. Preach that truth. Is Ray Love not a mod either? What is going on, bro? Slacking over here, y'all. I'm slacking. Welcome to the family, Ray Love. Oh, you do have a wrench. Weird. It's not showing people's wrenches on this, so I don't know who has a wrench unless I look over there. So that's why I got both up. But fuck me up for a minute. Rick Rock, what's good? What's good? Appreciate you dropping in. Did you get deleted? No. I don't think so. Oh yeah, man. I love the podcasters all coming together for sure. Definitely. And I gotta get more on my show. I'm slacking. I'm definitely slacking. I definitely gotta get some more over here. And shout out also to the green. Where's all my I don't know where everybody's at. How many yards do I think Ashton Genty's gonna get realistically? With Mostert behind him, I don't see him getting, you know, all the carries. So man, if he goes anything over 1,000, I'm good. Rosetown, welcome to the family. I would like to see. I mean, let's look at it. Hold up. Let's pull it up. Rookie running back rushing leaders. So, oh, hold on. I got to change that. But anything over 12, man. Anything over 12, if he goes over that, if he gets the 15 that he says, then he silences all critics that say he's not generational right off the rip. Some people aren't going to be happy if he gets, 1,100 yards or 1,200 yards. But some expectations, are a little higher, right? A little higher than what they should be. Is this just 2024? What? That can't be right. All right, I don't know. That is not showing up what I wanted to. Um, but yeah, I believe I don't know who. Jameer Gibbs total yards was like 1,200 or something. He was drafted what, seventh or eighth, something up there. So, Bucky Irving. I mean, he wasn't drafted, not Bucky Irving. Why isn't it showing me Russian leaders? So he's got a lot of pressure being the sixth overall pick. You know, on the worst rushing team in the NFL last year. Some people aren't going to be happy if we're 15th, right? Or if we're 20th best rushing team in the NFL, being picked sixth overall. Some people have way higher expectations. They expect this dude to come out right off the bat and run for 1,400 yards and, another 300 yards receiving. That's 1,800 yards. If he does that, I mean, shit, and we don't make the playoffs. There's a huge problem in this franchise. And the only way I see that not happening if he has a year like that is if our quarterback play is just absolutely horrible or our defense sucks ass. We get a lot of injuries again. That's the only way I see something like that happening. So if he gets 20 plus carries a game, I'll do it like that. If he gets 20 plus carries a game, I expect at least 12, 1,300 yards. Receiving wise, I expect, somewhere in the 2, 3. I'd be happy with that. I believe it's going to be higher. So that's what I'd be good with. Now, if he gets less than 20 carries a game, which I don't see that happening, but there could be a situation where, Raheem Mostert comes out and is just banging right off the rip and they hand it to the veteran a little bit more, right? Or they pass to him a little bit more out of the backfield. Or one of these guys like Sincere McCormick might come in hot when the pads come on. Another guy that people have been talking about, Zamir White, right? Zamir White. What does Zamir White breaks out in this system and comes out and kills it in camp? Does he get more of the reps? That's a big question. Now, if we don't get production from the rest of the running backs, and he's pretty much the best guy out there, he's going to get the bulk of the carries. He's going to get the bulk of the carries anyways. But how much can these guys behind him produce enough to get, to get on the grass? If they're constantly making plays when they're out there, they're going to get more carries, in my opinion. So expectations, if he goes anywhere, like I said, within 1,500 yards rushing and receiving, to me, that's a hell of a year. That's not a win. That's a hell of a year, right? Hold up. Let me try this. Yeah, so Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, this is why I say this, because he already had a running back there, right? They have that 1-2 punch. He came in as a rookie. He had 182 carries for 945 yards, average 5.2 a rip with 11 touchdowns in 15 games. I mean, you got to be somewhere in there, in my opinion. If you're generational, Chiefs fan, 1969 was good. Appreciate you popping in. If you're a generational running back, like many have said, like I said, I'm not going to shy away from that. I'm going to stand on that. I believe he's generational. And if that's the case, I'm more than positive he gets more than 182 snaps this year. So yeah, you got to get at least 12, man. At least 12. Anything less is, not a fail, but doesn't meet my expectations. We'll go with that. And anything over 12 just crushes my expectations. So I hope I hope it's over that. I hope it's over that. Let's go rookie running back stats. Whew. But then you got stats like this, man. And I know it's a different era, right? It was a different era. They pounded the rock a lot more. They round the ball a lot more. But Eric Dickerson, the most rushing yards by a rookie with 1,808. Can he reach that mountain? If he does, damn. I mean, I already know we got something special, but that just makes it 10 times even more special. G. Rogers. Who the hell is G. Rogers? Ran for 1,674 yards as a rookie. Ezekiel Elliott ran for 1,631 yards as a rookie. Let's pull up more. What else we got? Who is this? Oh, George Rogers. What year? Oh, 1958. Oh, that's his birth date. I was like, holy shit. No wonder I didn't know who the hell he was. Two-time Pro Bowler. All right, that's some crazy rookie stats. Kareem Hunt, 1,327 yards. Saquon Barkley, 1,307 yards as a rookie. Barry Sims or Brian Sims? What Sims is that? Billy Sims. Oh, I was way off. So rookie running backs, man, they're not coming out off the gate unless they're getting, 30 carries a game. If he does that, he's crushing all records. I'm going to go out on a limb. Hot take. If he gets over 30 carries a game, look out, man. If he stays healthy for the entire season, there's no way he doesn't crush these records. I'd venture to say he's up there with the Saquon Barkley numbers. I mean, if you're giving the man 30 carries a game with the receiving core that we have that can block, that can get downfield, that's pro. That's gonna be nasty. Let me get back to this. O'Connell taking the QB1 spot over or under 11 games. What do you think, Rebel? You're saying by week 11? Let me get this right before I preach on it. I'm taking the under. I'm gonna take the under. I'm just gonna go with it right now. I'm taking the under. We seen this kid. You know what Aiden could do. I know what Aiden could do. He been eating his vegetables, saying his prayers, taking his vitamins like the Hulk, right? He's locked in. His footwork looks better. Man, his throws look better. His timing looks better. His decisiveness is already been up there with the top in the league, in my opinion. That's just me. So I'm gonna say under. There's a lot of people talking about Geno struggling right now to pick up the offense. Is it the heat out there? Let's talk about Geno. Is it the heat out there? 100 110 degrees it's been, I think, in Vegas the last couple of days. I know it's been like 110 here. I think what is it right now? Still like 107 here. It's ridiculous. It's hot, bro. It's hot. So playing out in this heat, man, it's gonna kill Geno, bro. He comes from Seattle. He played in Seattle for the last 4 years, 5 years. Before that, it was New York. So to me, this heat is getting to Geno, bro. Go, if you don't believe me, go watch the highlights that are out there. Go watch Vegas Sports Today. My guy Fratello, who's always dropping shit. A couple other guys, Heidi, all the people that drop shit. Go check them out on X. Go check them out on the YouTube. He's one of the only dudes I see taking off his helmet, wiping his head constantly, right? He's not used to the heat. Aiden's been there 3 years, bro. This is his third year. He's adapted to the heat. He's adapted to the climate. He's played outside. He's been in the practices, right? These other guys out there look like they're struggling. Same thing with Carter Bradley. He looks like it's not bothering him one bit, right? He's adapted to the heat. That's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And, with that being said, we expect the defense to be ahead of the offense. The defense is going into their 4th year with Patrick Graham. A lot of them have been in this 2 years, 3 years, some the whole 4 years. That's a big step. Chip Kelly, right? 5 years NFL experience to Patrick Graham's experience. That's a battle. And I wanted to talk about that and bring that up. We'll get into that here in a minute. I believe that's one of the biggest battles brewing in camp right now. It's not on the defensive line. It's not in the quarterback room. It's not at the linebacker position. It's not at the corner spot. It's not at the any spot on the field, right? It's them dudes wearing them suits, those that got the microphones. I believe the biggest battle right now going on is between Patrick Graham and Chip Kelly. We hear it from the players, right? They're like, damn, Chip got me today. We hear it from the offense. Damn, PG got us today. They're not going against the defense. They're going against the coaches. These coaches are battling each other. They're coming out hot. They're changing it up every single day from what I've seen, from what I've read, from the little birdies I have in my ear. They're mixing it up. it's a lot different than last year, right? It's a competition. Last year, we heard, oh, the defense is killing it all year long. Once in a while, the offense made plays. This year, it's been different, right? The offensive made plays. They've held it down. They've had their days where they've won. We didn't have a lot of winning from the offense last year. It was mostly defense. Daryl, what's good? What's good? So that's a big sign for me. And I believe that's one of the biggest battles going on in camp right now is Chip Kelly. Iron sharpens iron. And these guys, the coaches are battling. They're going at it. They're trying everything they can to get the upper hand. And when the pads come on, man, look for it to even get worse. It's going to get worse. And that's, to me, that's what we need. That's what we need in this organization. That's what we need in camp. That's what we've needed for a long time with the Raiders, right? Battles, but not only from the players, but from the coaches, right? Trying to win every day, trying to be that guy. Holy shit, I went too far back. I got to start starring this shit. Damn it. Fuck. I saw what we did to the town. What? I'm right, but the next blue field isn't on the field. It's epic. Yeah, we already heard the offensive linemen say they want to block. They can't wait to block for this guy. Appreciate my guy stopping in. We've heard JPJ, we've heard Colton Miller, we've heard these guys say how they can't wait to get out there and block for Ashton Jeanty, right? It gives them a purpose. Last year, everybody has a chip on their shoulder in this offense. You don't think these big 300-pound men, with alpha male dog that want to win every snap, you don't think it's in the back of their mind constantly that they got dominated game in and game out in the run game? They got dominated, game in and game out in the passing game. None of these guys have the character to just be like, damn, I got beat and not come back and try harder, right? We've seen JPJ. Max Crosby's taking him under his wing. He's the first one in the building, last one to leave. He's lost like 15 pounds. The dude looks great. He's going to be stronger. He's going to be faster. He's going to be more explosive. That's huge for this running game. Huge. Samir couldn't break out of a wet paper bag. I agree partially, man. Watch out. We'll see. If it's not this year, then he's got to go. But I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt one more year. If he doesn't make this team, then obviously we know he can't run his way out of a wet paper bag. Cut Jeanty's statistics in half last year in the NFL. Cut them in half more and still gets to that mark. Well, if you cut them in half, that's 1,200. If you cut them in half more, yeah. Oh, for your bet, I agree 100%, bro. I wouldn't even. That bet's done. Just tell them to give you your jersey now. Just tell them to give you that shit now. In the NFL, you can stack 8 guys in the box. Will pass. Oh, you can't stack 8 guys in the box. They'll pass all over you. Yeah, that's a problem we've had. I mean, for the last shit, I don't know how many years. A long time is getting beat over the middle. Constantly getting beat in the middle. I mean, I know we like to beat in the middle, but getting beat over the middle, nobody likes getting beat over the middle. And we got to do something about that. But I don't know if we have with the guys in pass coverage. All right, appreciate it. I hope to God though. George Rogers from the Saints. Nice. All right, I'm caught up. I think it's Tucker's breakout year. Some got him listed as number 1. Some got him listed as number 3. Some people have him. I don't see Trey Tucker going anywhere. I know the way Spytek wants to keep guys in the building and give them a chance. And you don't know what he has with Geno, a guy that can put the ball on the money, down target. But we also know that Trey Tucker does dive for a lot of passes that he doesn't need to dive for. So, man, if he can get over that, the sky's the limit for this kid. And it, with the speed we have on offense, we haven't had two guys that can run in the 4.3s. Somebody in the chat, history question of the day. When was the last time the Raiders had two receivers that ran in the 4.3s? Let me know. Let me know. Unleashed Raiders says Aiden O'Connell takes the starting job by week 7. The Kansas City game? The team he should have beat? If it wasn't for a botched snap? Woo! Preaching truth here. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. It's sad for us if Aiden O'Connell has to come in by week 7. That means Geno totally failed or he got hurt. And I don't want to see either one happen. I'm a Raider fan. I'm not a Geno fan. I'm not an Aiden O'Connell fan. I love the kid. I think his progress, is up there. It's through the roof. But I don't care who the quarterback is. Y'all got me fucked up if you think I do. I don't care if it's Carter Bradley. I don't care. Put in anybody as long as they're winning games, right? I'm going to nitpick. I'm going to talk my shit. I'm going to criticize until they give me a reason not to. But I wish Geno all the best, man. I don't want him to struggle. I don't want him to, be the bad quarterback where Aiden has to come in and play, because that means we wasted a lot of money for one that we could have used elsewhere, like bringing in, linebackers that could cover, bringing in star corners. So I'm wishing Geno the best, man. You got to stop the turnovers. The shit's got to stop. We all know that. I believe Jason Ruins what's good. I believe we have the offense, the offensive line, the weapons that he can get the ball out fast, right? He doesn't have to wait for guys to get 20 yards downfield and hold the ball for 5 seconds, waiting for DK Metcalf to get open, which it don't take DK Metcalf 5 seconds to get downfield. Horrible analogy. But I believe we have the weapons in the building to take the pressure off Geno and make Geno better. But I'm not mad one bit with Aiden having to come in and lead this team. I'm not. Some people might be in panic mode. I'm not. I believe this is the best team he's ever had around him, and he's won us games with teams that were bottom of the barrel. I don't want to say ass because, we were competing. We tried, right? We get a trophy, like the little kids in baseball. Everybody gets a trophy, participation trophy. Stupidest shit I ever heard. Doesn't teach competition. But yeah, everybody got their trophy. That shit's got to stop. Got to stop for sure. You got to handle the heat in Vegas. Facts. 100% facts. And it's tough, man. It's tough. I lived there most of my life, bro. I worked construction in Vegas in every casino out there. 52 stories. Windows wrapped. No air. 50 stories in the air in 120 degrees. No fan, no ventilation. It's rough. People passing out constantly. Ambulance constantly coming and getting the weak. Eat the meek. It's rough. It's rough. That heat is nasty. Being on the field in a helmet, in a black jersey, and shoulder pads coming soon, it's going to be even rougher. It's going to get tougher. It's going to get harder. So, got to get it together, man. Got to get it together quick. Got to get on train. I don't think it's the heat. I think he's similar to Derek Carr. Both tend to give the game away and turn over the ball. And turn the ball over at the wrong time, as well as struggle in the red zone. 12 will be better than both. We've had our most touchdowns in the red zone with Aiden O'Connell on the field. And if you don't believe me, go look it up. It's a fact. 100%. Go look it up. I'm just saying. Geno Smith, stats in the red zone. Could use some work. But when we get to that point, man, I don't know. I want Aiden O'Connell to play. I want Aiden O'Connell to play, but I don't want this team wasting money and putting Aiden out there. You know, if they're going to try to, if they need a mobile quarterback, right? If the scheme is for Geno to run, if they already have it schemed up to have, some drawn up run plays for Geno and shit like that, then it's not going to work. I'll crash podcast. I have to. There's nothing wrong with that. What? Graham is nowhere near Kelly's level on the side of the ball, in my opinion. Okay. Talk that shit, Cal. Wow. I mean, you got to say Chip Kelly has, you know, Super Bowl experience, playoff experience, head coaching experience. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But playoff experience, I mean, NFL experience. A lot of his shit was in college, and football's football. It's a different speed, different guys, stronger guys, faster guys. I get it, but football's still football. Schemes are still schemes, right? And that remains to be seen, bro. That remains to be seen. I believe right now, Patrick Graham might have the better team, right? On defense. I think our defense is better than our offense right now as we stand. I think our defensive line is stronger than our offensive line. I hate to say that, but that's how I feel. Can our offensive line get up to the standard of the defensive line? Yes, iron sharpens iron. Our defensive line are going to make these guys better. So Chip Kelly's offense has a lot of work to do. And if they're constantly beating the defense, which we haven't seen, we've seen Geno make a lot of mistakes. Is it time to put in Aiden O'Connell, and see what he can do in some of these, give him first team reps, right? With the first team, see what happens. I don't think it's come to that, and I don't think it will come to that. But I hope to God I'm wrong. I do. I really do. But I know Raiders are going to be better with Pete Carroll as their head coach and Geno as their starting quarterback. Knees Duts, what's good? What's good? Good to see you, my guy. Appreciate you popping in. Bless the church with the wrench. Man, I bless the church. I mean, you bless the chat. I gotta bless the church, right? But now I got more moderators in my chat than people. So y'all gonna have to come in and be my people. Then, just saying. After watching the presser with Butler today, he looks in great shape. He's gonna have a big year. Adam Butler. I'm so relieved he's back. I'm so relieved he's back. I did a video last year on Adam Butler saying how he's earned the right, to be that 3 down guy, to be out there all 3 downs. He proved it last year, and he's going to prove it again this year. And the man, when he's out there, our defense is better. It's just a proven fact. When Adam Butler is on the field, our D line is more solid. Our run game is better. Our pass rush is better. We're better all around with Adam Butler out there. The Raiders have a lot of players that have been to the Pro Bowl. How many Pro Bowlers do we have on the Raiders roster right now? Let's look at them. Pull them up. I could do that. Let me move this. Wait, what? Okay, that answer is not right. Let me rephrase that question. I don't know. I hope it's not right. What the hell? All right, so the only shit it's giving me is Brock Bowers. I said for any team. I don't know how to rephrase it different. So I don't know. I know we only have two last year, but I know Devin. I think Devin White has made a Pro Bowl. I'm pretty sure. I think that's it. Oh my goodness. Currently on the roster. Damn. All right, so Gino has made a Pro Bowl twice. Of course, Max Crosby, Brock Bowers. I think Christian Wilkins. I don't know, man. I'll have to search individually one by one. So I apologize. I can't answer that question. I will answer it tomorrow. I'll have to do more research. We had 2-4-3 receivers last year. They just don't use one because of our head coach. Sorry. Oh, Tyreek McAllister and Trey Tucker. Okay. But both of those guys are kind of small, right? 5'9", 5'10". We've never had one. The NFL has never had one except for Chad Johnson and Randy Moss that are 6'5", run a 4.3. So that's better. Before that, it was Hayward Bay and Jacoby Ford. Shout out to my guy, Rip It and Flip It. I hope they have better years than that. I hope they have better years than that. Our defense is not going to be better than our offense. I think our offense will be better this year. Just my opinion, man. I hope to God you're right, Cal. Rip it, Cal. Rip it, Cal Ripken. Dude, if our offense is better than our defense, we have to make the playoffs. We have to make the playoffs, and I'm totally, I'm standing strong on that 12-5, which I'm standing strong on it anyways. And I got to get it back up. I apologize. I don't have anything. I clicked the wrong stream today. I didn't have any of my shit pulled up. That's why everything looks a little different. We have talked about linebacker updates. What does it look like now? Um, I pulled it. I pulled it up. It moves. Hold on. I'll go back. So it puts Germaine Pratt at the will linebacker position with Devin White second, Amari Gaynor third, and Jalen Walker fourth, and Landon Roberts at the Mike position with Tommy Eichenberg dismissed. What the hell? Jalen Smith and Cody Lindenberg. That's where we're at now. RIP, defense is not going to be better than our offense, but they will hold up like a damn what? Hold up like a damn. So y'all really feel our offense is going to be better than our defense? You think our offense is going to be done with the 3 and outs and we're going to be, that team with Gino where we're going to come down and move the ball efficiently, drive after drive, and keep our defense off the field? Because if that's what y'all feel, I mean, shit, I'm even more pumped because I'm feeling the other way. I think our defense is still going to carry us for a while until these guys like Dante Thornton, Jack Beck, Ashton Genty, get in the groove of the NFL, get up to speed with the speed of the game, with the strength of these guys, the speed of the guys they're facing, the defensive schemes they're facing, the way defense are going to scheme against these guys. That's not going to come out hot right off the rip. Now, I believe in Pete Carroll and I believe in Chip Kelly, but I just don't believe in them to come out banging like that. Now, if they come out hotter than the defense, then, bro, Cal Ripken. Right, that was pretty good. That's your new nickname from now on. But yeah, man, I'm pumped for that. The Raiders app has the roster. Yeah. But their roster has it a little different. They still have Amari Gaynor. Daryl, why are you getting they still have Amari Gaynor as defensive end. Now, could they be right? I just think they're slow. Hopefully, because if he is, I'm gonna be pissed, bro. The Raiders team is different, brand new team. There's a lot of different parts, that's for sure. The offense is going to be a different style, right? We're going to be a run first team. We're going to be able to move the ball. I hope. That depends on who we bring in, who starts on the offensive line. I just hope they don't go with Geno Smith. And I'm going to keep saying this, whether people like it or not. I really hope they don't just go with Geno Smith and Alex Kappa just because, somebody in the organization believes in him. John Spytek, right? Pete Carroll. I hope it's the best man that gets the job. I really hope that they practice what they preach and they're not just feeding us bullshit like the last regime, because the last regime told us the same shit, right? We don't care about the name on the back. We don't care about how much money you make. We don't care about this. We don't care about that. Bullshit. That's all they cared about is contracts. Who was making the most money? And until this regime proves otherwise, I'm still going to be skeptical on that. I'm going to be skeptical. I'm going to hold it, in the back of my mind constantly of what these guys said they're going to do, right? I'm going to hold them to it, just like I did last year with Antonio Pierce. And I got a lot of slack because, other content creators said, man, if you're calling Antonio Pierce a liar, just stand your ground and call him a liar. So I called him a liar, right? He wasn't doing what he said, bro. You told me one thing and you did something else. And as a content creator, I feel that's my job to call out people when they say they're going to do shit in this organization and try to help us. And then they do the opposite, right? They don't stand on business. They don't stand on their word. So that's a big question. Depends on Rodgers if the guard is the guard. I think he is. I believe he beats out Kappa. I think, if you look at film on Kappa, him turning his back, looking at a quarterback in the middle of a game, I don't know how many times last year, but it was more than I could put on film. It would have been a whole show for like 3 hours. It's not a good sign. And I don't think you can fix that. He's a veteran that's been in the NFL for a long time. I don't care what injuries you had. If you had injuries, you shouldn't have been out there. And you sure the hell shouldn't be spinning around looking at guys back hitting your quarterback. That's not going to cut it in the NFL. And we got a strong defensive line, right? We got a battle going on the left side with Jordan Meredith. Some people already have Parham penciled in again. I feel like it's not his job yet. And again, all that can change when the pads come on, right? All that can change. They could be wrong. They can be having the wrong guys at the wrong positions and be like, damn, we need to move this guy over here and move this guy over here, right? Swing guys around. Now they will come out swinging. Kelly will have them right. I hope to God you're right. I hope you're right, Cal Ripken. And you've been pretty spot on in the past, I will say. We've missed on the Aiden O'Connell thing, but that's not our fault, bro. Offensively, completely depends on how the O-line will look. I think this young line will surprise us and me solid. I believe this line is solid as hell too. Colton Miller looks like he's back. I talked about JPJ losing weight, being stronger, faster, more physical. DJ Glaze is in his second year. He was thrown to not only the fire but the wolves last year. If you look at the Pro Bowl caliber, the gold jacket caliber defensive tackles he faced week in and week out, for him to do as well as he did, he didn't give up a lot of sacks. He gave up a lot of pressures. I will admit that. But hopefully when you got a guy like, Caleb Rogers with his athleticism, he's going to help him out, right? And I believe DJ Glaze is going to have a chip on his shoulder. He knows that's his spot. I think Munford's still battling for that spot, so there's still a little battle and competition. Munford could come out with that job also. To me, he's better in the run game. I'm going to go out and say this right off the bat. I think Munford is better than DJ Glaze when it comes to the run game. He gets out there, he moves bodies. In pass pro, little different. What else we got? We're dealing with real coaches this year, not used car salesmen and fraud coordinators. Cowtown coming hard today. Positive necessary. My bad. I'm still salty about that. Tony Two Checks laughing my ass off. He should have started AOC. 100%, bro. Preach them facts. That's why we do. That's why we do this. Yo, did you see Tom Telesco interview? Why did that go away? Tom Telesco interview. He never they were never drafting Penix. Tried to tell y'all Penix was a Mercedes. What? On the whatever that is, on the Forgatos. What the hell? Why did it go away? With high mileage and a salvage title, Craigslist quarterback. Look, they think Penix is the guy, right? He's coming out hot. But last year, in the 3 games he played, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Aiden O'Connell did way better than that. This dude was picked in the first round. I'm not going to get into that shit today. We already know. We know the AOC cerebral assassin, baby, is coming for a quarterback spot near you. I believe in DJ Glaze. He handled it well last year, right? He did. The pressure-wise, you got to get better at that. But he went up against a lot of veterans, a lot of seasoned veterans. So, hella hard, no Diddy, right? Pause. No baby oil. Easily the best Raider team in 20 years. Preach that truth, Law Dog. I'm loving it. It is, though. It has the potential to be. It is on paper. Kind of. I'm still iffy on the quarterback spot, man. The turnovers scare me, dude. I'm not jumping on this train like everybody else jumps on the bandwagon with Geno Smith being a top 10 quarterback or even a top 15. Go look at Chris Sims. Go look at Chris Sims' review on Geno Smith. He has him 24th in the NFL. 24th. How do you go from 24th to 6th? That's a jacked up scale, bro. That's a scale. That's a scale. Ray Love, Raiders. I believe too. Or I wouldn't have predicted 12-5. We got a lot of work to do. Those guys are getting on the same page. That's even more scarier than talent. 1,000%. Killing it today. Killing it. My guy's on fire. Agree about DJ Glaze. You know, if he can tighten up that right side, tighten up the pressures, and be a dog in the run game, right? We need him to be a bulldozer. If not, bro, don't sleep on Dalton Wagner. Don't sleep on Dalton Wagner. Dalton Wagner's footwork looks a lot better. I've seen a lot of film where the dude is out there moving bodies, bro, moving furniture, right? Putting guys in different places, moving shit around. If he keeps that up, Dalton Wagner is by far, to me, the best tackle when it comes to the run game. Go back and watch his film at Arkansas. There's a reason Rocket Raheem Sanders was a dog for the Razorbacks. He was a big part of that. Big part of that. This man moves bodies, not one or two bodies. He has the power and the strength at 6'8", 340 pounds to actually get guys off their feet when he gets his hands out. Now, he's got to stay healthy. He's got to work on the footwork. But his strength, his power in the run game, Dalton Wagner is a dog, man. So I hope he makes this roster again. There's a reason he's still here, and he's got a lot of guys in front of him. This year might not be the year for him. He might end up going somewhere else. He might make the practice squad again. I don't see him making the roster. But if we struggle in the run game, look for somebody to be pulled up. I can tell you that. I'm going to say it now. I'm going to say it right now. If we struggle in the run game, bro, and he can be that dude. Pass pro, he's getting better. He's getting better too in that. What else we got? There's shit to be optimistic about. Better than 2016. That line was elite. That line was elite. It was very elite. And I believe we have the potential to be that line, right? Don't sleep on Carroll Jr., right? Don't sleep on Brendan Carroll. This dude had a solid offensive line at Washington. They were solid in the run game. They were physical. They weren't all the biggest, strongest, fastest dudes, but they were a unit. They were a group. Pause if necessary on the unit thing. He's going to get the best out of these guys. I have a lot of faith in Brendan Carroll, a lot more than probably a lot of people do. I think, I don't believe Pete Carroll would have brought him in and put him at this spot, knowing the offensive line was going to have a lot of young guys out there. I believe that's why they brought in a Brendan Carroll. He's going to have these guys in top shape. They're going to be physical. They're going to play together. They're going to know their roles. So we do have a lot to be optimistic about. Watch his 21 interceptions last year. 6 were heavy garbage. Check it out. He only had 15 last year, I believe. But he had 24 turnovers, 9 fumbles. A lot of them in the red zone. And some were garbage. I'm saying that about Geno. But we've seen in preseason, what have we heard already? Not preseason, but what have we heard in mini camps and in camp? Interceptions. Now, I hope it's the defense being that good. I really do. I hope our defense is just dominating out there to the fact that, we're going to make any quarterback look bad. I hope that's the case. But, we never know. Never know. We're all just making guesses, right? We won't know until the game starts, but we have a real running start this time. in and off the field, right? I agree. I agree with that. It's definitely the best coaching staff I could say. I feel this is the best coaching staff we've had since Madden and Flores. Madden was an older coach. People forget that. Tom Flores, when he was coaching, was an older coach, right? All he did was take us to 2 Super Bowls. So all I'm saying is when you have an elite coaching staff, and they might not be elite, but they very well can be, right? Chip Kelly can be an elite offensive coordinator. Patrick Graham can be an elite defensive coordinator with Pete Carroll at the helm. I believe, I truly believe that. Oh no, is Zamir starting? No, 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 no. I love that comment section makes more serious decisions than Pete Carroll and Spytech. Right? Shout out to the Couch GMs. I love all of y'all. This show would not be the same without y'all. Pete, Pete, Pete. The fumbles sucked bad. Right? They were most of them in the red zone. In the red zone. That cost them games in key games. Now, a lot of it was running around in the backfield trying to make plays. And I don't feel he's going to have to do that this year. I don't think Gino's going to have to be the hero. He's not going to have to play hero ball. He's going to have to play. And I know y'all ain't going to want to hear this. I know y'all ain't going to want to hear this. He's going to play game manager. Yes, I know he's a gunslinger. I know he throws the ball deep. I know he's very accurate deep. But don't be surprised if Gino is a game manager. Just manage the game. Don't make stupid throws. Don't force balls, pause if necessary. There's no reason for it. We have a defense to get you back on the field. We have an offense to keep the plays moving, right? To keep the chains moving. We have that offense if we just play smart. And that's what they got to get out of Gino. And I'm not saying they can't. I believe very, very highly that Gino can have his best year he's ever had in the NFL, right? He's got more experience. He's back with a coach he knows better than anybody. Pete Carroll knows his strengths, knows his weaknesses, knows where he's going to shine, knows where he's going to fail. These are all things that help Patrick Mahomes be a great quarterback. These are all things that help Joe Burrow be a great quarterback. These are all great things that help the great quarterbacks be great. Your coach, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, knowing what you're good at. And I believe we have the coaching staff for that. One thing I'm excited about with this Raider team, I think they're going to be a top 5 and blocking receivers. Our receivers are going to be top 5 blockers. I wouldn't be surprised if they're number 1. I'm going to be honest with you. If Trey Tucker's not out there a lot, if you have Dante Thornton, if you have Jacoby Myers, and you have Jack Beck out there, mainly as your guys, that's going to be one of the best blocking receiving cores. Top 5, yes, they definitely could be that. I could see that very, very easily. My guy, Cal Ripken says, still early. Gino needs to build a report with the receivers. One thing I will say, he throws a pretty ball. Tight spiral, and with velocity, right? Not as nice as Penix, but looks similar to me. He has a damn good ball, bro. It's the decision making is the problem. It's nothing with Gino's accuracy. It has nothing to do with his athleticism. It has nothing to do with anything but his decision making. And he admitted that today or in his press conference. Go look at the, you know, um, Raiders Media Day, right? Where they're taking pictures and they're interviewing. Sorry, I forgot what the flip it was. He said it himself, right? He feels like this is a chance to be his best year. He's learned a lot of things. He's picked up a lot of things. He's back where he wants to be. I think that's huge. When a quarterback is comfortable with your head coach, it makes all the difference in the world, right? Last year we seen that with Gardner Minshew. It was horrible. It was horrible. I don't think he was comfortable in any situation with anybody. But yeah, Gino has all the acumen, all the accolades, everything he needs to be a top quarterback in the NFL under this system, in Chip Kelly's system, right? We're going to run the ball, pound the shit out of the rock. You just have to make accurate throws, which he can do. You have to get the ball out quick. Nobody does that better than Gino. He was fourth last year when it came to getting the ball out, right? 2.83 seconds. Gino gets the ball out, quicker than a hiccup. Aiden O'Connell looks like he's been getting the ball out a little bit more in practice, but I'm going to keep throwing that shit in, whether y'all like me talking about Aiden or not. All running backs said they're going to learn some from Genty. They are going to open up the pass game. What? You can't stack 8 men in the box in the NFL. We will pass all over them. I mean, that's 100%. And we had no threat last year. We had zero threat when it came to the run game. Teams disguise stacking the box, right? They moved all around in the box. They disguised coverages. They looked like they weren't blitzing. And then as soon as the ball was snapped, they're sending everybody, especially more than not with Aiden O'Connell in there, right? You have no run protection. You have no threat of a RPO. You have no threat of a play action. They knew the only time our running backs were touching the ball last year was in the backfield on an out route. That was it. That was pretty much the only time. They didn't get no go routes. They got no wheel routes. They got no drag routes. They got no comeback routes. They basically all ran out routes to the sidelines, get them the ball quick, way too early most of the time. We've seen quarterbacks panic, throw the ball way too early, which didn't give our running backs a chance. I think all that's behind us. I believe all that's behind us. Thought we left that pause shit in 2024. I guess we could. Where the team puts it in the air. What? We are the team put it in the air, in the stars. I hope so. Yeah, but practice is the time to take those spots. 100%, Ray Love. If nobody takes it now, they're not going to take it when the season starts, right? The pads don't come on but maybe once a week in practice. You're not going to get a chance to go out there and shine unless you're getting, you're on the roster and you're getting a little bit of reps. Then you might do it that way. But you have to make that step now, right? Show it's your job. Show you want that shit. If we have like-minded coaches who all understand that they will have to build around their players' strengths and talents and not force a scheme or style on them. See, that's where I agree 100%. And I don't think we have a scheme. I think we're going to scheme different for every team we play this year. That's how I feel. We're going to run the ball some games more than others. We're going to pass more than others. There's going to be games where Gino's going to be in a shootout. I'm going to be scared of those games. Protect the shield was good, But I think we have the firepower to win those games, right? We have the defense. We have the offense. My guy Law Dog says, Tom Brady, okay with Geno Smith. Pete Carroll, okay with Gino. I think we're all good. Fans. But fans don't know better. At the camp with no pads, Hemingway just looked as good as Max to me. Tonka looked nice out there. My guy says Aiden. I know. Protect the shield. I know. It's facts, Rebel. That shows Penn State that Boise not happening in the NFL. It could happen. It could happen. We could have, with the threat of Geno Smith, the threat of the deep ball with Dante Thornton, the threat of Brock Bowers. I haven't even mentioned one time tonight. Didn't even have to mention Brock Bowers on purpose for a reason. Everybody was pumped about this offense, right? And the hype that we're going without even mentioning Brock Bowers. All we talked about was Trey Tucker, Kobe Myers a little bit, Dante Thornton. You throwing Brock Bowers to that mix. This is a security blanket for Geno. Geno knows by looking at film last year, how many times did Brock Bowers save Gardner Minshew? How many times did Garner just throw it up, trying not to get sacked? Bro, Brock Bowers came down with it and made a big ass play. Jacoby Myers also. And we even seen that from Amir Abdullah. Some of those passes were from Aiden O'Connell just throwing up Hail Marys. But they came down with it. So we got receivers that can win battles. And now we have a 6'5" receiver in Dante Thornton that runs a 4.3. It just makes our threat downfield with Trey Tucker even scarier, right? You're constantly going to be mixing receivers in my opinion. I don't think any of these guys get 10 catches a game. I don't think any of these guys would be lucky to get 10 attempts a game, really. I don't think Brock Bowers is going to be the focal point in every game or in any games. There might be games, where their slot receiver is not what we think it is, and we could take advantage of it and force them to double Brock. But then that leaves, Jacoby, Jack Beck, Dante Thornton, Trey Tucker, all these guys open. Tommy Malott probably is going to make this team, in my opinion. We have weapons, man. We have weapons. And if our offense can be better than our defense, playoff bound. We are playoff bound. I'll say it right now. There's no way on earth that our offense comes out better than our defense this year and we don't make the playoffs. I just don't see that shit happening. So with that, I love y'all. If y'all ain't got anything else to say, any more questions? Ray Love pumped for the season. I love it. I'm going to get off here. My food's ready. I'm going to go get something to eat. Rebel, where you at? I'm just curious. If you don't want to release, that's good. I'm in Arizona right now. I live in Arkansas. That's where I currently reside. That's where my spot is. But I've been visiting family, bouncing around my brothers, sisters for the last 2 months. So I'm in Arizona for a little bit more, and then I'll be heading back to Arkansas. But I was born in Cali, Norwalk, to be exact. So, yeah. Nah, I ain't hiding nothing. I ain't hiding from nobody. I'm a Bears fan. I think Bowers could legit finish with 1,600 yards and 15 touchdowns one of these years. Damn, dude is inhuman. That is wild, bro. That is absolutely wild. If that happens, I mean, two things if that happens. The rest of our receivers are injured or just aren't what we thought they were. And we have no running game. So I hope to God Brock Bowers doesn't have those numbers, because that's the only two way you have those numbers. But if you could have 1,600 yards receiving with 15 touchdowns and still have 100 yards a game rushing, shit, bro. We are now looking at the greatest show on turf times 2. Legitimately, bro. Legitimately. I live 5 minutes walk from Bluefield in Boise. Nice. Oh, so you've seen a lot of Ashton Genty then. So what do you? I mean, I got your opinions earlier, but what do you think about Ashton Genty? Where do you think he's going to go? So Law Dog, what do you think? 1,500 yards is too high of expectations for Ashton Genty as a rookie. Let me say that. Salute my guy Chris. You saw him change the whole place. I mean, we know that. We know that the dude's a dog. Oh, off the field? Okay. Okay. That speaks volumes for this kid, man. If you could come in off the field and change this culture in Vegas, get these fans to buy in, get them to sell out, stadium, Allegiant Stadium, that would be huge, man. That would be huge for this team. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it 100%. So, man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. It's been almost 2 hours. We will be on tomorrow. As always, much love. Raiders. Just dominate, baby. What? Hey, can you do anything he puts his mind to? Let's bring the Raiders. Zero quit. Facts.